Okay, so yeah, this guy right here, right, Galactus. I wanted to talk a little bit more about his creation, his historical context, and links to mythology as I see it. Now, this goes way back into mythology. He was created in 1966 and first appeared in the Fantastic Four at number 48. Of course, this is one of the products of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, the OGs, during the Silver Age of comic books. Now, this is a time, just to kind of give it a little backstory, like this is a time Lyndon B. Johnson is president on the global scale. Vietnam War is escalating. Civil rights is moving with force. And, now we're in the space race. We're starting to peak. And this is an era for comic books, was about cosmic and existential themes. We're growing in, like, just generally in the public. We were influenced by space exploration. We still had Cold War anxieties and this fascination with the unknown if we really look at, like, what our media was at that time. And the creation of Galactus, I think, really reflect a fear of destruction and this awe of cosmic power. He's a being beyond human understanding, much like the vast, universe itself. He has definitely has some belief and religious parallels. And one of the things we know about Stan Lee and Jack Kirby is that they often put biblical themes into their stories. He was more of a cosmic god. He is a force of destruction yet necessary to balance. So he's similar to ideas of divine retribution. His arrival was often heralded like an apocalyptic prophecy, and that mirrored a lot of religious narratives about Judgment Day. And Galactus and the Old Testament God, in some interpretations, he resembles an Old Testament deity, unfathomable, punishing, and beyond morality. He commands his heralds, like prophets, the Silver Surfer, who warns civilizations of impending doom, similar to figures like Noah or Elijah. If we look at some other parallels in Norse mythology, he's like the Fenrir, right? A cosmic devourer who is prophesied to bring the end, which is what Fenrir did. Shiva, of course, in Hindu mythology was the god of destruction, who brings the end, but is also necessary for renewal. And then, of course, Kali is a fearsome force of destruction, but necessary to maintain universal order. So that's a theme that we see quite often. So he really reflects that idea. Also looking at Cronus in Greek mythology, who was a devourer of his own kin. He ate his children to keep him from overthrowing him, and Galactus consumes planets to consume himself. So there is a little bit of play in multiple mythologies, the way that I see it. He is the fear, like the manifestation of the fear of, nuclear annihilation. So during this Cold War era, there was this dread that humans feared that this, nuclear war was something that was unstoppable and could erase civilization. And there's just the ethics. Also, the question is really about the ethics of his own survival. And the question of Galactus is a villain for merely fulfilling cosmic destiny, but the idea of, nature and fate and your idea of what you have to do and its importance relative to the things or people that you consume to feed yourself. So it's a lot going on with Galactus. To me, he was never just a comic book character in the traditional sense. He is more of like a mythological figure that they shape, drawing from a lot of mythology, a lot of mythology, some religious history, some existential themes, and he represents inevitability. Right? He is the balance of creation and destruction, and humans' awe and fear of forces that are far greater than us. Literally, he dwarfs us. That is like the big thing. Most of the time we see these otherworldly beings don't appear as big. Galactus really lets us know relative to him that we're nothing, right? And maybe it has something to do with the time period. I think looking at 1966, there was a lot going on. I know I guess soon in that time Carl Sagan will be releasing his big body of work about the universe. And all that had an influence on what we thought and saw about it. So those are my thoughts about the historical links and, mythological links with Galactus, the Marvel character. If you have more to add, drop it in the comment section. And as always, give me that like and subscribe.